welcome back to Evil and Intoxicated. Let me
Who
pull.
are we? What are we? Where are we? What are we doing?
Well, we are just wrapping up with the Ultimate Fighter Season 27, Episode 6. I'm joined, right above me is Ted Czech. What's going on, Ted? How you doing today?
Eddie, I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing good. You know what? This episode, first, let me start by saying this because I saw something tonight that really surprised me, and I'm kind of happy I saw it. So Jeddy Goodman, I don't know if you guys are all on Twitter, but Jeddy Goodman,
or is it Jedi? Like Jedi?
I don't know.
Like Star Wars Jedi. I think that's why he does that. Why he includes his middle initial, so people can call him Jedi Goodman.
Huh? You might be right on that one.
That's just my thinking. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry, Eddie.
But yeah, so he tweeted out tonight that this season Ultimate Fighter is actually doing really well, Ted. And for people out there that don't know, ESPN, who we're going to be talking about this in just a little bit,
right.
They just signed UFC TV deal. And we're going to be running down all this and much more. But you know what? I just wanted to bring this to light to everybody. And I got the numbers right here, Ted. And you were even saying going into this season that you thought this was going to be a successful season. And you're a longtime fan who's never really been into the show.
No, I have from time to time, but then I lose interest. I'll be honest, I do. I've lost interest many times. So, but I've come back to it. So, and yeah, I thought with Stipe and with DC, they're popular guys, and also with the kind of the hook of, hey, everybody that's on this thing, that's in this thing, is undefeated.
Yeah.
I thought that might pull some people in front.
So the numbers for this, and if you guys have been following Ultimate Fighter, you've been seeing them just plummet and plummet and plummet. But this season, the text, or the tweet, I should say, from Jeddy Goodman, it says, from Fox Sports, Ultimate Fighter 27, Episode 5 averaged 362,000 viewers on live plus DVR, an increase of 106% over live and pre-recorded. Highest gain in live over 3 seasons. The last couple of episodes, episode 1 had 298,000, which was an increase of 48%. Episode 2, 296. Episode 3, 366. And episode 4, 357. It's just going up and up. Oh, you got the cat.
I got the cat. Or he's got me. I don't know.
And I got to bring something up about cats later. That's a little upsetting, but I'll bring that up in just a little bit. But Ted, what's your thoughts on this? Are you surprised that the views are going up this season? This is what the Ultimate Fighter needs, if you ask me. Is this going to save the Ultimate Fighter? Or what are your thoughts?
Well, like I said, I was kind of hoping that it would increase, and from last season, I couldn't even tell you what the theme or whatever was of last season, but it's good that they built it around, hey, look, all these fighters are undefeated, so somebody's O's got to go. Actually, everybody's O's got to go except for one featherweight and one lightweight. So I think that that kind of ups the ante. And then, like I said, Stipe's a popular champ, DC's a popular champ, and these two guys are going to go head to head at the end of this thing. So yeah, I was kind of thinking that maybe there would be some type of boost, but correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't this it? Because once they move over to ESPN, they're going to just go with Dana White Tuesday night fight, and they're not going to have the Ultimate Fighter anymore, or will they still?
I believe the deal ends in December of this year, and then ESPN will pick it up in January. But right now, Ted, see, it's very confusing. They're having the tryouts right now. I know a couple of fighters I've interviewed in the past that are out there right now, and Chris Cyborg is out there right now greeting all the fighters.
She's what?
She's greeting all the fighters that are coming in for the season to try out.
Okay.
But the thing is, we aren't sure if they're going to even go through with this season because, there's been no word. ESPN hasn't uttered a word about the Ultimate Fighter, so it does look like this or next season will be the last. But who knows with these numbers? That's why I brought up the numbers, Ted. Who knows with the numbers changing? Maybe they can put it on, an application or so. I don't know. I don't know what the future of the Ultimate Fighter is, but I do do like Dana White's choosing the Contender Series this day and age. I think that is the right direction to go. But
yeah, I mean that's what I was thinking too. Maybe I mean, I'm sure I'm not the first one to say this, but there goes the cat again. Maybe the format's played out. You know what I mean? After the next one will be 28. 28 seasons. That is something to be proud of. And maybe the format is just played out. You know what I'm saying? And maybe they need to put all their efforts into Dana White Tuesday Night Fight Series, and maybe even make that longer than it is.
Yeah, because there's only a couple of fights on there. But nonetheless, let us know what you guys think about this on Twitter at Evil_Echo. That's EVIL_ECCO. And also Ted Czech's Twitter at Ted Czech. That's TEDCZECH. All right, so let's get into this episode, Ted. Episode 6 went down tonight. Recapping last week really quick, Mike Trizano defeat Thailand in a second round TKO. Moving into this episode, we had Usman Makhachev, whose older brother is actually in the UFC, and he shared his backstory a little bit tonight. He was going to be going up against
Ricky Steele,
who like honestly, going into this episode, I was kind of rooting for Usman.
Yeah, I mean, they're both likable guys, and that's kind of the point of the Ultimate Fighter when they go back. That they make them human. That they're more than just fighters. They're more than just guys, shedding blood in the cage. They're real people. They have families. They have goals. They have ups and downs, just like everybody else. So yeah, I mean, I liked both the guys. Ricky Steele, like I said, it sounds like a made up name. Sounds like if I was like an adult performer, I'd be Ricky Steele,
or the lead singer of a country band or something, right?
Sure,
yeah.
Or Buck Naked, or something like that. But so I don't know. I mean, I was kind of like, whoever wins wins. You know what I mean? I was hoping for a good fight.
All right, so going into this episode, we got to see a little beef happen at the beginning, Ted, between a couple of the fighters that went down, and you got Luis Pena rolling around on a freaking scooter on one foot, ready to throw down, ready to stand up for what's right. But it was kind of funny, man, because Joe, reacting to, what was it, Thailand? Or no, not Thailand. Who was it? That was Delaney. He was freaking out, and Joe freaks out, smashes his coffee. He's like, dude, like, you haven't even fought yet, and you're starting problems. Joe kind of put it like, it kind of seemed like he wanted out. He was going to start issues outside. But the way Delaney put it, he was like, I'm just trying to get in these guys' heads. What did you take of this?
Well, it was very convincing. If the whole thing was a work, you know what I mean? If the whole thing was, if the whole thing was a rib, as they say in professional wrestling, where he's just trolling people.
Yeah.
Job. It was a very convincing one. It really sounded like he wanted to go outside and fight, which is ridiculous because they're there to fight for money, not for just shits and giggles, to settle some ridiculous beef manufactured out of nothing.
And that's what they were bringing up. They were like, he's just here for camera time. That's all he's here for.
Right, and the other thing is, if he has such a great life, why is he putting himself through this? It's the most difficult thing that a fighter can do is to be away from your loved ones, quarantined, with no internet, for however many weeks it is, right? And he's saying, he's got all this money, and come on, I don't think so. I'm calling bullshit on that.
Yeah, I think he's playing the part that, this season kind of needs. I mean, as much as we like to hate these guys, let's look back at some of the other seasons. There's always been one guy. You're going all the way back to, Koscheck on season. He's the Koscheck of the season, right?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, yeah. There's always one. You're right. And, okay, I mean, it's... it's interesting. It makes the world go round, right? I mean, I've always said that, when people say, well, I don't like the arrogant fighters, or I don't like this kind of fighter, or this fighter needs more personality, there's room for everybody. there's room for the Conor McGregors, but then you got the Stipe Miocic's, where he's just a hard-working blue-collar kind of guy. You saw Cormier. Cormier is trying to get inside his head.
Oh yeah, saying
win the belt and then give it back to you, and then you can fight Kane, whatever. Running his mouth, and which is fine. Great. And then Stipe's like, yeah, okay, all right, yeah, all right, thanks, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, just totally, it just doesn't affect him.
I think Stipe is more in fight mode mentally because, DC, the way that he's been acting, and I've been loving the way he's been acting. He's been, freeing out, but, that could be a sign of weakness to a lot of, fighters like Stipe, looking at him like, what are you trying to be, a clown right now? But at the same time, I'm loving their interactions so far this season. What are your thoughts on the coaching so far?
I've got to do one thing for Stipe Miocic on here. Miocic. Sorry, I just had to do that. The coaching, I mean, they both seem very into it. They both seem, supportive of the fighters. Cormier is a little more outgoing and a little bit more emotional. But Stipe's right in there with everybody too. You know what I mean? I think there's no doubt in my mind that he cares about the fighters just as much. But just going back to your other point real quick about Cormier. Yeah, it seems like when you put Cormier and Jones together, Jones is the aggressor. As far as the trash talk. Cormier and Stipe, then Cormier becomes the aggressor. He's the guy that's trying to be the alpha. At least a verbal alpha. But I think he's wasting his time because it's clearly not having an effect on Stipe Miocic at all.
I think the big factor here is that you got DC there. Yeah, they have an upcoming fight, and I'm excited for it. But really, Kane's been there, hasn't uttered a freaking word. That is scary. That's scary. So you have Kane there the entire time, just glaring over. That's the boss. That's the master level. I might get backslash for that because it's been a while. But going back to UFC 200, Cain Velasquez throwing freaking wheel kicks against Travis Brown. I want to see Stipe versus Cain more than I want to see DC. But, I like that factor with Cain just in the back. That's scary, Ted.
It's scary if he's healthy. You know what I mean? Is the guy ever going to fight again because he keeps getting injured, and then he keeps having surgery, and then he keeps having surgery, and then he keeps getting injured, and back and forth and back and forth? Pretty soon the guy's going to be 40, for God's sake. I don't know how old he is right now, but, an MMA career is not that long, and he's been around for a little while. But, you could make that argument that he's still the man to beat, so to speak. But also, Stipe does have the record now for heavyweight title defenses.
Yeah, which is so crazy.
But I would think, you'd think that Stipe... part of it, maybe not all of them, but part of them is thinking, you know what, a real feather in the cap, I could really kind of cement my legacy if I could beat Cain Velasquez. Yeah. I'm sure he's thinking that. This is the guy that I need to beat to really prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that I'm the greatest world champ. I'm world champ! I'm world champ! I'm world champion! You know what I mean? I bet you Stipe's thinking about that.
Stipe can make some big things happen if he can get by DC. He's even talked about John Bones, and I think that would be an exciting fight. But nonetheless, let us know what you guys also think about this on Twitter. Ted, what's going on in the chat room?
Let's see here. Okay, so we're talking about DC and talking about Gus because I guess Luke Rockhold is injured. Apparently, you heard that, right?
Yeah, and he's not even at ATT. He's not even at there, so you can't throw that at him.
Okay. So no, but
or not ATT.
AKA.
Sorry, AKA.
It's alphabet soup. But no, okay. So Nicholas Moss is saying, okay, look, Rockhold is out, so you've got DC versus Miocic. Now you've got Alexander Gustafsson. Should Gustafsson's play be that he sits out instead? Because Rockhold was going to fight Gus. Should Gus just say, look, I'm going to see how this whole Miocic Cormier thing plays out, and if Cormier loses, well, it's back to the light heavyweight division. And do you think Gus should? I think he should wait. I think Gus can do that. Hell, he only fights like once every 3 years anyway. So what's another 6 months, 9 months, whatever. So wait and see how the DC Miocic thing plays out, and then just challenge for the light heavyweight title.
I want Gus to stay at light heavyweight, man. I don't like any of the other matchups really.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, stay at light heavyweight, but since he lost Rockhold as an opponent, don't try to fill up the space with some other opponent. Just wait for DC, and provided he loses to Stipe, he'll still have the light heavyweight championship. So then Gus can fight DC.
How motivated are people to see Gus versus DC again? I mean, DC flipped him around on his finger. Poof.
So maybe Gus needs to prove himself a little bit more.
And he has. I mean, look what he did to Glover Teixeira. Say what you will about Glover Teixeira, but the uppercuts that night. And then he proposed to his wife. Things are good for Gus, man. Things are going good for him.
Yeah, but you know what? Now I'm kind of seeing it the other way. Maybe he does need to fight somebody else first before he gets to DC. One more fight against the top 5 guy. Maybe you're right. Maybe he still needs to do something. I don't know. But Stipe Miocic, not the real Stipe, but nevertheless,
who knows?
He wants to see Volkov versus Kane. Wants to see that fight.
There's no time. Speaking of, he has time, man. There's no time. Yeah, Gus is saying he doesn't have time to wait if he's going to be fighting him. That would be a fun one. That would be a fun one to watch.
Yeah,
that's a good one to bring up. But really, I mean, he's coming off a loss to DC, and we kind of realize that he's not at that level. But
no, not no time. No, Alexander Volkov.
Oh, the older guy, right? The older
heavyweight, former Bellator, I think, champion, right?
The submission, the submission guy.
250 pounds. Coming off of a win over Fabricio Verdun by knockout.
Damn. Where is he ranked right now? I don't even see him ranked. He's not ranked.
He's number 3.
Oh, yeah, yes. Draga. Yeah, there he is. That's right. And he's coming off that win over Verdun. Forgot about that. Yeah, he's a striking jiu-jitsu guy. All right. So,
win streak for them in the UFC.
That's right. I forgot about that guy. Dark horse. Real dark horse in that division, man.
Probably not for much longer if he keeps on winning.
So listen, let's move on with the Ultimate Fighter episode 6. Usman Makhachev going in there. Like I said, his brother. They're kind of giving their backstories, and what it seemed to me was, they're both sitting on the couch. His brother is high as hell, and he's kind of just like making fun of it, just throwing it out there. Which seems like how a lot of these fighter stories start, is on their couch watching the UFC, going, "I want to do that," doing romper house in the living room. That's how a lot of these fighter stories start. But, so inspiring that his brother cleaned up his act and then ended up making it to the UFC. When he was sharing that story, Ted, saying it in the hot tub full of guys, I mean, it was a little weird. They're all sitting in the hot tub. Just maybe it wasn't weird, but
hashtag no homo.
Hashtag no homo. But I'm loving the bond that all these guys are having in this house. You have Luis Pena, giving the Remember the Titan speeches. You have Usman Makhachev giving these, you can be at the bottom and come to the top and fight in the UFC. I'm loving it, man. I'm loving what this season has to offer. Now you also have Jay Cuccinella, who's on the sideline saying, yeah, you guys got your drama going on, but I want back in this thing, and I want to approach Dana White, and he does. And I think that was very brave of Jay Cuccinella to do.
Yep, there goes the cat again.
Hey.
Yeah, no, it was, and then we saw the other guy, the really kooky dude with the handlebar mustache. He did the same thing. He approached Dana White and said, "Hey, could you consider me as well?"
And at the time, we can't really get into what happens after that until we talk about the fight. But yeah, he approached him. Out of those two guys, man, they both know. And this season, Ultimate Fighter, I mean, Jay Cuccinella, when he went backstage to talk to Dana, what did he say? He said, no, there's no waiting around. He said, this show presents opportunities. And it does. This show always presents opportunities when fighters get injured. And Luis Pena out right now, we do not think he's going to be coming back. But Dana White's already promised him a fight in the UFC. So Jay Cuccinella stepping up to the opportunity.
Well, and Well, yeah, let's get into the fight because there's some fallout from that.
Okay, yeah. So let's jump right into that.
There may be a third individual that would want to throw his hat in the ring, although he's a featherweight. He might want to try to take that spot, or there might be another spot. Well, anyway, let's get into it.
All right, so yeah, let's get into this fight. Usman Makhachev going into this, man. I thought, like I said, I was favoring him. Stipe was saying to his fighter, which I believe was Suman, right?
What? No, Suman Mokhtarian is Stipe's fighter.
Yeah, that's what I said. So,
okay, my bad. Yeah, and Steele is with DC. Yep.
So Stipe was trying to tell him, he was like, I want you to push forward, I want you to pressure, and use angles. I mean, classic Stipe style where you kind of, you're making that game plan, you're using angles. But,
right.
Usman Makhachev, man, I don't know if it was a great idea for him to stand and trade, because he was saying going into this fight, I got power in these hands. But his opponent, Ricky, he's more of a stand-up guy. So I was a little surprised going into this fight that he was, standing up with him, especially in this first round. How did you score this round? What did you see in this round that stood out to you?
Well, let's see. Okay, so Ricky Steele has got a karate background. He's like another Wonder Boy or Lyoto Machida, and so that I understand why Stipe would say pressure the guy, because you don't want to give him a lot of space because he's got all these crazy kicks. He needs the room in order to throw those kicks.
We even saw an up kick landed too.
From the ground?
From Ricky Steele in the second round. They were both standing, and he landed a really nice up kick.
Oh, I thought you meant up kick as in you're on the ground and you kick up.
Oh, no, I'm talking about straight Anderson Silva Vitor or Lyoto Vitor.
Like a teep, like a front push kick.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. All right, so I think Stipe was correct in saying, Mokhtarian, you need to push forward, be aggressive, and crowd this guy. But the thing is, what I did notice, and although he's got a number of submissions to his credit, Mokhtarian, he doesn't seem to have the wrestling skills. I haven't seen any of his other fights where he's gotten those submissions, and they're crazy. He did the TP.
The TP, he got
he did a twister. How did he get in those positions? Did somebody take him down first, or was he just against guys who didn't know any wrestling and he could take them down? Because Steele said he has some type of wrestling background as well. Mokhtarian needs to go back to the drawing board and wrestle, because he really he couldn't seal it. He could not get a takedown on the guy.
That would have been huge in that first round.
Yeah, whether it was like single, a double, or like a Greco from the top, he couldn't get any type of takedown. The only chance he had was he tried to sink in a guillotine, but he couldn't quite nail that one.
There was a lot of clinch work going on. The ref even had to step in halfway through the first round.
It's Jason Herzog, right? He's like, okay, guys, need more work.
Yeah. Stay active, guys.
Okay. It's like as soon as they clinched, he was 30 seconds in. He's like, okay, I need you to work harder. Okay, I'm gonna separate you if you don't do that. Okay, and it's like, get out of here for a second. Look, I get upset when it's too long. Everybody has their own threshold for when the fighters are in the clinch too long and they're not doing anything.
He does it as soon as he gets the thought in his head. He doesn't give it a second. I agree with that.
Give him a second to do something, for God's sake.
Some people might like that, but in this case, I'm kind of happy he stepped in. They only had 2 rounds, but I agree with you, Ted.
Yeah, so it's like, I think, what I think it was, Eddie? I think it's that, okay, usually when we watch a UFC, whether it's a UFC on Fox, a pay-per-view, whatever, we can't hear the ref. So we just see the ref coming in. We're not sure if he's saying anything to the fighters or not, but in this setting, we can clearly hear the ref because it's so quiet in there.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what got me like, okay, guys, I need you to do something.
Isn't it like so weird? Like I brought this up to Matt Bissett last week. They do the same thing. They're at the same gym or the same place for Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series, There's no one really there besides friends and family. It's like you're fighting in a gym, like a high school auditorium. It's a little awkward in there. It's pretty awkward in there, isn't it? It's hard to get hyped up in a way. Like it
Right.
doesn't feel like a
I'm
fight.
all for intimate settings, small places that are packed full of people.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's what I think they should do, is pack these things a little bit more.
It's kind of a turnoff. It really is a turnoff. And I remember, like, I've said this before, but like in high school when we would watch it, girls would walk by and they didn't even know. They're like, "This is the UFC. This sucks." Well, there's no one there. Like, no, it's just confusing to a lot of people. So
Yeah.
I don't know. But going into the end of that first round, Ted, how did you score it? Because I had it 10-9 for Ricky Steele.
Oh yeah, first round for sure. Second round was a bit closer, probably still for Steele, and the judges thought so. But the first round was not a 10-8, but it was a definitely a 10-9. Yeah.
Yeah, the second round a little closer. I'll give a little bit more in the second round, but I think Ricky still kind of got more comfortable. But at the same time, I thought that he was at the same time very tired at that point as well. Same with Suman Makatran, who came out fresh, but both these guys were throwing some big punches throughout the round that really winded them out. And then once again, we saw a lot of clinching, a lot of tying up, and once again, Ted, we saw Jason Herzog, and you guys are gonna have to do something and split them up.
Hey guys, I need you to work a little harder. Yeah, well, let's see. Okay, so just going back to remember something about the first round. I noticed this in the first round. I'm not sure if it happened so much in the second. At least twice, when Steele would throw a low kick, here comes Mokhtarian with an overhand right. I liked that. I liked that he was doing that, and so he needed to do more of that. And also, I think it was in the second round, his corner was yelling, "We need combos here."
Just about to say that.
Oh, sorry. You're not going to win this thing one punch, one kick at a time. You need to pull some RDA shit, some 40 punch combos.
We see this a lot on the Ultimate Fighter, though. We see a lot of one punch, no combos. A lot. We see that a lot on the Ultimate Fighter.
Right, and maybe they're tired. Okay, great. I mean, not great, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we'll take that into account. But yeah, he really needed to continue to push the pace and to really to throw more combos, man. If you wanted to stand with him, which like you said, I thought was a little strange, and I thought maybe he was. It was kind of a swerve. Like, I'm going to say I'm going to stand with the guy, and he's going to think that I'm going to stand with him, and then I'm not going to stand with him. It was like like a trick. But no, it wasn't a trick. He really did want to stand with him. I don't know.
Going into that second round, too, Ted, did you think that we were going to see a turnaround, maybe a third round, or did you think what we saw was predictable?
Again, Eddie, it was I'm looking at my watch. Nope. I mean, they started it at the bottom of the hour. They started it at 10:30. But you do a 5-minute round, then you do 5 minutes of commercials or whatever. Then you do the second round, and then by that time, it was like 10 of, and I'm like, yeah, no third round.
Yeah,
I would have liked to have seen a third round.
Yeah, I think what really changed that second round was, like you said, the corner saying, throw more combo shots at 2 minutes and 35 seconds of that round. That's what he did, and I think that's what really did it. But like I said before, and like you were bringing up, a takedown would have been awesome for Suman. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to get it. The guys both got real gassed out. Both judges scoring this fight for Ricky Steele moving forward. But we come to find out, Ted, at the end of this fight, we have an injury from Ricky Steele. Right.
It looked like, possibly two different things, because he was saying he was having trouble with his eyesight. Remember, and the woman who was asking him thought he was joking. She's like, no, I really need to know. Right? Didn't he? Because he says, I can see 3 of you.
And, that's what he said after the fight as well to Suman. It's like, there are 3 of you in there.
Right. So, but I think when he said it to that woman, I think she thought maybe he was kidding. She's like, no, I really need to know to see whether I'm going to take you to the hospital or not.
Yeah.
And he said, well, I definitely need my foot checked out because I think it's broken. Because there was some foot stomps that Mokhtarian gave him there. which was a good idea. It's just
Old school.
Just wasn't enough. There was just he didn't build on that. I don't know, man. I guess I was kind of rooting for Mokhtarian in a way. We were going to talk to him here.
Yeah, that's something that we needed to bring up. He was supposed to join us here tonight, guys. Unfortunately, he backed out like literally last minute this afternoon tonight.
I'm sorry. I was. Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. Mokhtarian. Yeah. Suman. He was supposed to be on here, and then it was kind of a last minute thing. Something must have come up. Filling me cracking here. Filling me cracking. He's being a goof. He's saying. He's talking about you, Eddie, and he's saying all sorts of ridiculous stuff.
I mean, just say it, because that's the.
All right.
That's what you get for putting yourself on YouTube.
Tell the lady at the bottom she has to lose the beard.
Oh God!
Nothing ladylike about you, Eddie.
Hey, Phil McCracken, man. I think that deserves a little tip money. You need me to flash myself for a tip or something here?
Right.
What's going on?
You fill me cracking. You give us $10 and Eddie will lift up the shirt.
I'll fill you cracking. That's what I'll do. But yeah, Ted, at the end of this episode, we saw Gunther approach Dana White. I don't think Gunther knew, or did he know, that Ricky still had an injury? Or was he approaching him for a loop? Are they both in the same weight class? Are they both featherweight?
I think he was going for vying for the other for Luis's spot.
Yeah.
But I mean, with Ricky potentially out, does that mean that Suman Mokhtarian could get back in? Because Dana White was impressed with his fight, even though he lost. Dana White was impressed with it. So
let's think about that, Ted. Out of the guys who have lost, who do you think? You pick Suman, and I know, like, I've been talking to Suman daily, but I don't know if he's my first pick necessarily for guys to get back in there.
I can't think of them all off the top of my head, but who would you pick instead?
Well, I mean, we really haven't seen much from Gunther. That's the thing. I mean, what was it, 9 seconds or something like that Joe Giannotti got him in.
Man, the guy's just so weird.
Yeah,
it freaks me out. He's so weird. I think Dana White be like, "Nah, fuck that guy. He's too weird."
He's got those crazy eyes going and shit like that. But I mean, Stipe's got his back, man. He's like, this kid brings on the table. I think, I think the fans would get behind Gunther getting brought back in. You also have, not Brad Katana, the other kid with like the overlap mustache. I can't remember his name for the life of me. But he trained with like Rob Emerson and those boys. I'm pretty sure. But I think I would pick Jay Cuccinella. I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah.
You can't mix your heart up with who you think is you know what I mean? It's hard.
Right. You can't separate it.
Yeah.
Gotta keep them separated. There you go.
They need to do that remix with let's keep them separated. Yeah. The king of the fight.
Anyway.
Over 18 seconds, I will split up the fight.
So I thought it was a good episode. And then we got another fight. DC got to choose again.
First off, who the fuck are these guys they picked for next week's fight? I haven't even seen them once this season. Am I crazy?
No. You're spot on, man.
Who is it? Smolin versus. Did you get the next name?
No, I did not.
And I'm so sorry. Like, as a professional journalist, me and you should know. I swear to God, I literally have not seen these. Like, I was like, who are these two guys that they're?
Who are these guys?
Yeah.
Who are these people?
Yeah.
I because somebody tell me, because I'd like to know.
You're on fire tonight, Tim.
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
What is up with air food?
Waitresses. I don't know, but we're gonna find out. And shame on us for not knowing. You never know. These two guys next week could one of them could end up being the champ, and then we'll really look like idiots.
Last closing thoughts here, Ted. Moving forward for next week. There's a lot of exciting fighters on this season, but I really hope that Lewis's foot fixes or something there happens, because I'm really liking, out of all the fighters, I think Lewis is is the one that's really shining to people. What are your thoughts? Who's really standing out most to you this season at this point? What are we halfway through about?
Are you
6.
talking like personality wise, or you
who,
fight wise, or
both? Who are you rooting for fight wise? That's still in it, and really 2 of the guys who've won are out. So there's really 3 other people that are really in there. I mean, you got Joe Giannetti,
right?
You got Bryce, our boy Thug Nasty. You got Lewis, who got pulled out. You got the kid tonight, Ricky Still, who got pulled out. You got Brad Katona, the Superman guy with the glasses.
Oh yeah, the Superman, Clark Kent dude.
Yeah. So you only got 3 guys to choose from. Who are you behind? Are you behind Bryce or what?
Yeah, he's my boy. He's my horse.
I think I'm behind.
No, we interviewed him, and so I got to go with him.
Yeah,
I mean, and beyond that, he's a skilled fighter. So, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, what do you guys know? Let us know on Twitter at evil_echo. That's EVIL_ECCL, or on Instagram at Pure Evil MMA, or let Ted Czech know at Ted Czech on Twitter. That's TEDCZECH Ted. Last but not least, we do that every episode. Quick rating out of 10. I'm giving tonight's episode a solid 7. Rating on you?
I'm gonna go with 7 too.
Yeah. Thing flows right there. All right, so moving forward, Ted, what do we have in store for the rest of this podcast? What are we running down?
You wanted to talk about, UFC Liverpool, for one thing.
Yes, UFC Liverpool predictions coming at the end.
I did bring my coffee down here. Yeah, UFC
Cheers.
Liverpool, and I suggested Fabricio Verdum getting flagged by USADA.
Or Colby spiking his food or whatever.
Well, I have a theory about that.
You have a theory. Let's start with that one. But what else are we running down? Of course, Bellator 200 and the change with Cro Cop.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yep. That and hold on one second. I have to.
And the ESPN deal, of course, are going to be running down that as well. But let's jump into Fabricio Verdum. Well, hold on. First off, before we get into anything, let me take this lighter out of my new rat's mouth.
Hey, Eddie, if you ever get really, really angry at any of your rats and you want to get rid of one, I have a cat that could help.
Oh, you know, Ted, like I said at the beginning of the show, I don't really want to start with bad energy, but this morning I saw the most awful thing, and I thought of you, man, and the kitten that you had not too long ago. You know, I was pulling out of my driveway this morning, and my neighbor was halfway pulled out of her driveway, and I slowed down to see what it was. And she was like leaning over something. I was like, what the hell is that? A little gray thing flopping around. And I was like, it's a squirrel probably. As I focused my eyes, it was a little kitten, a little gray kitten. It literally looked like a kitten out of a calendar. It was, and she ran it over. It was sleeping underneath her tire, like at night, you know, because the engine was so warm. But there's a lot of feral cats around here, man. But it was so sad. Unfortunately, the kitten didn't make it, but man, that's how I started my morning, and man, it was rough. It was rough to see. But on a lighter note, guys, I got 2 new pet rats this week of my own. No Angie Jabs attached to them. The other rats are with Angie, but I got 2 rats, and the listeners actually named them, Ted. This one is Bella, and the other one is Puff, and they're living on my bed. Last announcement, last but not least, I know that we have a new studio here. You guys are seeing this studio if you're watching the video cast, but I'm moving again, Ted.
Again, Eddie. Holy crap, dude.
Yes, we're going to get some new space, so I'll keep you guys updated on that at Pure Evil MMA. Also, really quick, I spoke with Jillian Robertson today, who's fighting this weekend at UFC Liverpool. So if you guys want to check that out, check it out, Pure Evil MMA. Let's jump into Fabricio Verdum's news, Ted. I'm going to send it over to you.
All right, hold on. First, I have to block Philip McCracken because he's talking about ass shots, and we just don't have any time for that.
All right.
So I'm just going to, I guess, remove.
There are shows out there for people like that, though, that want to do stuff like that.
We got, yeah, really. He's like talking about ass shots. He's asking you. I said, dude, look at your own ass. You know, bang, you got the BANaranged. That's it. You banned from the store.
What is it? The BANaranged?
BANaranged.
The BANaranged. I love it.
The Verdoomerang.
Yes. Yes.
The Boomerang, so it's the BANaranged.
So you're banning people with the. You got to get a graphic. I'll make a graphic for that. So if we ban someone, I'll press a button and we'll go circle around and then pull them out. That would be great. But the guy could have at least left a tip, man. I mean, if you're gonna talk this shit, leave a tip. But moving forward, jeez.
Yeah, he's asking, are you straight or are you lesbian? I said, give us $10 and we'll tell you.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Some incentive.
So he gets, and not because of that, but because he continues. He's obsessed with ass shots. And that's it. He can take his business elsewhere.
Yeah, there's other shows. There's other shows for people like that. I can recommend a couple. But this is mainly for the diehard MMA fans that want to talk about what's actually going on in the sport.
So the topic was, okay, so here's my theory. So, okay, with Alistair Overeem, we had the horse meat, right? Remember the horse? How you getting so big? Oh, horse meat, right? Frank Mir gets busted in Australia. What was it? Kangaroo meat.
Kangaroo meat.
Then Canelo Alvarez. Oh, it was the cows. The cows and the Mexican cows were infused with something or whatever. So I Googled. I said, I want to know an animal or animals that are native to South America, because Brazil, right? Brazil native animal. So I came up with, it's a real animal, the capybara. Well, it's like capybara, B-A-R-A, C-A-P-Y-B-A-R-A.
Was it rodent?
It's the world's largest rodent. It's a rat the size of like a German shepherd.
Oh, God. It's a wharf rat is what it is.
It's huge.
Wharf rat.
It's called the capybara, but you're in Brazil, so it's capybara.
That's disgusting, man. If people eat that, or
I don't know. I don't know, but I think
it's just an animal from there.
I just picked it out of the blue. He ate a capybara. It was it was infused with something, steroids or something, and boom, there you go. That's what Ali Abdelaziz should say. That should be the excuse, because apparently he said, "Oh, we're gonna have this figured out in no time. No time at all. We're gonna get rid of it." So he says. Anyway, so yeah, Fabricio, but in all seriousness, he did get flagged by USADA.
Ted, let's not throw him under the bus, because we really don't know. And I know that there's a lot of MMA fans, when they hear that news, they immediately sign that person off as an abuser, and that's not true, as we know yet. But has he had any past flags?
I forget. I should know that, like, right off the top of my head. Hold on. Let's just.
And who was he matched up to fight? Because this was a quick turnaround. His last fight wasn't too long ago.
Alexei Olenek.
Okay. Oh, yeah, and he just fought too, getting another freaking Ezekiel choke. How about that?
Right. They were going to fight in the main event at UFC in Moscow on September 15th. Now, so this happened, and then I think it was earlier today, Dana White. You may have seen this. He tweeted out a smiley face emoji, and that's it. That's all he tweeted out. So, of course, everybody's speculating. People are thinking, "Oh, did he actually sign Habib versus Conor?" Because that was when I heard about Verdum versus Olenek. I'm like, "What the hell happened in Nurmagomedov?"
Actually, Ted, it's probably the $1.5 billion deal that they just agreed on today with ESPN, furthering their contract.
You think it's going to be an ESPN fight?
No. I think that maybe he tweeted that out because...
Oh, the smiley face emoji.
Yeah, because this morning it was announced, and I tweeted it out. Let me pull it up. At Pure Evil MMA on my Instagram really quick. Because it is huge news, man.
Yeah, but we've known about the ESPN deal for a couple weeks now.
No, this is on top of that ESPN deal, I believe. They added another $1.5 billion investment on top of it all. Let me see if I can... Okay, report. ESPN's UFC package bid worth $1.5 billion. That's the news that came out today, I guess. So whether that's new or not, that's my speculation. Maybe that's what he was tweeting about, but I'm not sure. That's just what came to my head.
All right.
First.
So yeah, there's yeah, there's lots of speculation there.
But really quick, Ted, the deal for people who did want to know, we're going to talk about in a second. For 5 years, man, 5-year contract with ESPN. That's huge. It's huge.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
a long time too.
Talks, but ESPN is they've gotten very political, and I'm just really, really hoping that they leave the politics out of the UFC. You know what I mean? We're talking about fighting here, okay? The politics has no place in it, but they get into all sorts of stuff with other sports. They got into the whole Neilgate thing, and matter of fact, you probably heard today about that. The NFL owners or the NFL decided that hey, if you're going to kneel, then you're going to get there's going to be penalties for that.
I mean, you're working. There's something that they expect from you while you're working, I guess. It's my view on it. But at the same time, freedom of speech, I don't know. I'm not truly trying to get into it. I'm really not.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that I don't want to get into it either. I just hope ESPN leaves it out when they talk about the UFC. Leave the politics out of it.
Do you want to segue into the ESPN talk?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. What did you want to say? What more did you want to say about it? I guess I don't know.
All right, so the ESPN deal, a part of this package, Ted, and let me give you a shout out for this because you freaking called it, man. You called it. Yeah, you called it. Ariel Helwani leaving the MMA Hour for ESPN to do a show with Chael's son, and that is also a new change with what's going to be going on with ESPN and MMA. Whether Dana White's happy or mad about it, I don't know. I bet he's not too happy. What's that? What
did I predict?
All right, so you predicted that Ariel, and it's not 100% true, but you predicted that Ariel would up and leave the MMA Hour in a second if he was given a deal from someone like ESPN, or if he was given a deal with NBA because he loves basketball. But now, Ted, now that he's at ESPN, now he can get his foot in the door with what his dream job is, which is, covering the sport of basketball. And at this point, I kind of believe you, Ted. I wouldn't be surprised if he just would up and leave the sport. Another thought, or what's your thought?
Well, I was going to say, his profile picture on Twitter that he's had forever, which is friggin'
the Montreal hat.
Yeah, he likes the what's that?
Expos.
Montreal Expos. Actually looks like ELB, but it's actually an M. The Montreal Expos. Well, maybe, and he's from Canada. I get it. So yeah, maybe he can. You're absolutely right. I mean, maybe he'll get into another sport.
Here's the thing, too.
I'm so lucky.
Here's the thing, though. When I went to broadcasting school, I was trained by all these ESPN guys, and they all warned us, don't get a job at ESPN. Even like shows and stuff, they run through their shows. They cycle through. If the show's not a hit, I mean, Ariel and Chael, in case you guys don't know, the podcast that they're doing is only going to be a 30-minute podcast.
Wow.
Yeah. You're leaving the MMA Hour. I'm sure they're going to bring, somewhat of the MMA Hour over to that. But, Ariel's up and leaving his entire team. Like, the MMA fighting, they're tight together. It's a little weird. It's a little weird that he's doing it. And, I didn't think he would ever do something like that, but you called it. And now I think that he's going to put, one foot in one and one foot in the other. And when you do that, you're not getting the 100% out of that person. In due time, we'll know. What are your thoughts on Ariel moving over? Do you think the UFC is going to be happy about that? Because they've kind of been wanting to push Ariel to the side.
Right. I mean, ever since that beef with Dana White
and firing him from Fox. Yeah.
Right. Because he was playing both sides right there. He was working for a journalism entity in MMA fighting, but yet he was also working for Fox. And so they got upset at him for breaking news on MMA
Bellator,
which they wanted to break on Fox. That's really the heart of it. So, but now he's going to be working for the company that is going to be in bed with the UFC. Is Fox going to be totally gone, or are they still going to have something?
I believe Fox is going to be totally gone. I've heard that they've been, leaning towards like the WWF or whatever. I'm not 100%. But what is
Totally
left?
out of the equation, out of the picture.
I believe so. Once you go over to ESPN, and guys, I'm not trying to throw any shade or anything at Ariel or ESPN.
Right.
As a matter of fact, Ted, I think this is a good thing for our sport. ESPN's a great platform for people who don't pay attention to our sport to kind of get it shoved in their face a little bit more.
I mean, well, but here's the other thing. They've been, as far as I understand it, they've been hemorrhaging subscriptions. People are dropping ESPN. I mean, they have some to spare because they're so big, they're so powerful, popular, But they have been. I don't know if that has ended. You know what I mean? But for a while there, because people were getting tired. As I said again, or as I said,
politics.
People were getting tired of the politics. But anyway, no, I mean, I think I think overall it's a good move for the UFC, and yeah, I mean, it's it is the leader, as they say, it's the worldwide leader, and now they're owned, or they have been for a while, owned by Disney.
Yeah, you know what? Listen, I mean, out of anyone in MMA media, whether you love Ariel or you don't like him, if there's anyone that we could pick to kind of represent our sport, I think it would be Ariel. I think that, because look, who else do they have? I mean, look at Skip Bayless when he talks about MMA. It makes me so mad because they don't know what they're talking about. So I'm happy that they're bringing Chael and Ariel over.
Who's the other dude? He's a boxing guy on HBO, and then he has another show. You know what I'm talking about? I forget the guy's name. He has Max Kellerman. Kellerman has no idea what the hell he's talking about. Stephen A. Smith has no idea what he's talking about.
And it's awful. It's awful.
Shannon Sharp has no idea what he's talking about. Those guys are idiots when it comes to MMA.
I was a little mad when they didn't have Ariel on the Mayweather-McGregor lead-up. I mean, have a face in MMA that knows what they're talking about that's going to bring in some good points. And, they missed out on that. They picked Brandon Schaub, which I'm not mad about. But, if there's someone to pick, my point is, Ariel's the good choice to go over ESPN to represent our sport.
I'm sure that Brendan Schaub is pissed that ESPN didn't pick him. I'm sure he's upset about it.
He's over at Showtime, but nonetheless, what do you guys think about this ESPN deal?
Did it tank?
It's actually, his Showtime show is actually doing very well below the belt. Yeah, it's doing really. I was a little weary about it, checking it out at first because I've been listening to Fighter and Kid for so long, or whatnot. But from what I've seen, it's pretty creative, and I think it's directed more towards his diehard audience that enjoy like little skits and stuff like that. He did with Callan and the OG Fighter and the Kid. But either way, Ted, this is also opening up doors for a lot of people like me and you. When Ariel's leaving, MMA fighting, who do they have left over there? Luke Thomas, Chuck Mindenhall. They just lost Wagenheim last week. Who's going to take over the MMA Hour? I mean, that's a landmark show in our sport.
I didn't know that Wagenheim. I mean, other than the MMA Beat, did he actually work for them? I thought he was a Sports Illustrated guy.
I think he is a Sports Illustrated guy, but I think he also obviously worked for MMA fighting as part of the Beat, and I'm sure that was under contract for MMA fighting freelance, right? Yeah. Travel and stuff like that can pay. Sure.
Where does that show go?
Yeah. Which is a shame, man, because that's the leading MMA news show, whether you love Ariel or not. So, let us know what you guys think about this on Twitter at Evil_Echo and at Ted Czech.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Luke Thomas, man, that guy is just so boring. So I would rather watch paint dry. I really would. I would rather get a filling done at the dentist's office.
This is your beef with him. It just goes back so far. I love it.
Anyway,
well, no, I know what you're talking about. He sits in front of the. I know what you're talking about.
I don't know the guy. I've never. I mean, so I don't know if we could really call it a beef per se, but
you're just not into his show. That's it.
No. Yeah, hard pass.
Yeah, hard pass. All right, so moving forward, Ted. Really quick, I know I didn't bring it up with you, but this week I went out and I purchased The Pact by Cody Garbrandt, the story about him and Maddox Maple. So I'm going to be reading this, let you guys know how it is. Now, Ted, my quick question to you is, have you ever read an MMA biography before? And if you have, what one would you recommend to people?
I read GSP's book.
Oh, okay.
I think it's called The Way of the Fight, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so I thought it was good. I liked it. I liked the way it opened, where it really describes his kind of Spartan-like lifestyle, where he's living alone and he's
It's Major Payne. He's
What's
the
that?
Canadian Major Payne.
Major
Ever seen the
Payne.
show Major Payne, the movie Major Payne?
But so he just it's a very solitary life. He goes and he trains. He comes back and he's home, and that's it. Basically, he's just kind of
He's the kickboxer. He's the same character as the kickboxer.
you know what I mean? He's not a big partier. He's kind of an introvert, it seems. So yeah.
Does he talk about aliens and stuff like that? Like, does he open up about his thoughts on?
No, I don't think that wasn't top of mind for him when he wrote
Okay.
this. But one that I want to read that I haven't, which I've heard is very good, is Jens Pulver's book.
What is the name of that? I heard that one was really good too. He has a dark past.
Yeah, what is the name of that one? I forget.
Also, Chris Lebin has his book. Ronda Rousey, I've read that one. That's an amazing. That's the one I would probably say go read. I might get a lot of shit for that, but I really enjoyed Ronda's book.
Really?
Yeah. And also Ted.
Oh, it's just called Little Evil.
Okay.
His first book was called Little Evil. He did write another one, it looks like, where it's called The Wednesday Group That Will Change the World. But the one I'm thinking of is Little Evil, where he was younger, and I think it has to do with his childhood and how he got into MMA, and then he did win the lightweight title from BJ Penn way back when.
Yeah. Here in Connecticut, I believe. Or no,
What?
that was the second fight at Mohegan. Or no, it was the first fight. It was the first fight at Mohegan. It went to decision.
It was a decision.
Yeah. It was at Mohegan Sun. I'm pretty positive. Correct me if I'm wrong, because my friends went to go see, I don't know if it was the first one or the second one at the casino. But Ted, moving forward, what is next on the news rundown here? I believe we have Bellator 200 that is coming up this weekend. And unfortunately, anytime there is a 200 event like UFC 200, the main event seems to fall out a lot. I mean, let's go back to UFC 200. Originally was set up to be Conor McGregor, and they were like, nope, you're not on it because you're not going to be doing media. So peace out, Conor. Then they set up John Bones versus DC. That gets pulled off the last second. Me and you reported that live.
Yeah.
And here we go. Bellator 200. Main event was Roy Nelson versus Cro Cop. Unfortunately, Cro Cop is injured, and he is a little older for, be holding a main event spot to be promising it on. You know what I mean? So they've changed it to Gegard Mousasi, who's going to be going up against Carvalho, I believe.
Yeah, for the middleweight title. Rafael Carvalho.
Thoughts on Cro Cop versus Roy Nelson getting pulled off here, Ted, first?
Well, I thought Cro Cop was retired. I mean, fighters do this all the time. But didn't he say a while back, he's like, I got one more fight in me?
In Risen, yeah, his last Risen fight.
Risen, yeah. And I thought the appropriate thing would be at a New Year's Eve show, because the Japanese do the New Year's Eve thing. They do it up bigger than anybody. They have, sometimes it'll last a couple of days, but they usually have something combat sports related. Whether sometimes it's a mix, kickboxing, MMA, pro wrestling. But anyway, I thought, that would be great. And then I'm thinking, well, maybe we could have Cro Cop versus Fedor 2, something like that. I'm just surprised. I'm kind of surprised he's still going, but hey, I mean, as long as he can, I'm all for it. As long as he's healthy and still has the skills.
I mean, Ted, he had an amazing year in 2016. That was really a resurgence. And again, he did say that he was going to retire. But after leaving the UFC, I mean, when he went to the UFC, it was kind of just like, what happened to Cro Cop? This is not Cro Cop. And he left, and he actually did very well.
Yeah, I mean, whether there's a theory about that. I mean, if you look at Wanderlei Silva, you look at Cro Cop, not so much Rampage.
Fedor. We were talking about this 2 weeks ago about Fedor winning in America and stuff. Yeah.
Fighters coming over. Well, with Fedor, it might have been making the transition from the ring to the cage, but I mean, I think with Cro Cop and with Wanderlei, there might have been a little, they let's just put it this way: Pride let them do whatever they wanted, substance-wise.
Wanderlei getting knocked out by Chris Leben. I just reposted that on my Instagram. Remember that one?
Chris Leben.
Oh,
Leben. Yeah,
Chris Leben.
Oh, okay.
Lebanon.
Yeah, so I'm not, I mean, there's speculation about that maybe these guys got off the juice when they came over here, and I got to tell you, Wanderlei Silva looked a lot smaller in the UFC. He really did. Than when he was over in Pride. So
I mean, what a true warrior that guy is, though, man. Someone who's had surgery on his nose to fight better, so he can breathe better. That's like Michael Jackson did that, so he can sing higher notes. Wanderlei Silva did that, so he can push through freaking the edge of death.
I remember when Wanderlei Silva did that. It was kind of weird though to look at the guy. I was like, whoa. I mean, like he got a really different nose there.
Yeah. So, Ted, now we have Roy Nelson versus Cro Cop pulled off of this. Were you excited to see that fight first off? Because it was the rematch. The first fight was so-so. Were you excited to see the rematch, though, all these years later?
It's kind of flying under my radar. I'm just being totally honest with you.
Listen, for Bellator 200, I think you would agree with me saying this. I feel like there should have been a different fight there as the main event. And I'm sorry, it's Roy, but...
No. You're right. You're right. That's kind of what I'm getting at here. Is it wasn't exciting enough for me.
Yeah.
It wasn't. There's no marbles. You know what I mean? It's not for any marbles. Like all the marbles. This is for all the marbles. There weren't any marbles on the table, really.
The Grand Prix tournament's already going on, so it's not like they're leading to a title shot.
Grand Prix. It's not even a Grand Prix fight.
Yeah.
It's just a heavyweight attraction between two well-known guys who, quite frankly, are past their primes. So why can't we have an exciting fight with a title on the line? Get a title, and now we do, with Carvalho and Mousasi. And I don't know, this Carvalho guy, he's been kind of quietly doing his work and everything, but
he's only lost one fight in his entire career, man. He's a tough. I'd pick him over Gegard, honestly.
Would you?
Yeah. I mean, Gegard, what has he got, like 50 fights underneath him? So, I mean, it's kind of crazy for me to say that, but look, I don't know. Gegard got pretty beat up in his last fight, despite the eye pokes and stuff, I don't know.
What are you talking about?
Right? The last fight that Gegard had, didn't he get pretty beat up? Even though he won, he got pretty beat up in that fight.
Who was that? Who did he fight?
I don't even remember. Can't even remember.
Beat the hell out of him, huh? Check it out.
Positive that he got poked in the eye a few times. It was right here at Mohegan Sun. It was right here in Connecticut.
Well, his last fight was a win over Alexander Shlemenko. A unanimous win.
There you go. That's it.
Shlemenko.
Yeah, man. Shlemenko pieced him up a couple of times, even though he got the win. It wasn't the best fight, man. And here you go. You got him main event. At least it's for a title, though.
Right. So Stipe's saying Gegard got lucky against the Russian. And, we got Sandeep, the King Singh, G-Man Mule checking in. Yeah.
So listen, this card is actually not that bad now that I'm looking at, Ted. You got Michael Venom Page in the co-main event going up against my boy David Rickles, who's been on the show before. Who's a funny guy to talk to. He's another staple over there at Bellator. A guy who I really wouldn't ever see leaving Bellator. He was even on like their version of Ultimate Fighter, actually a while ago.
Oh, the one where Randy Couture was one coach and somebody else was the other one? You're talking about that?
Yeah, they've only done like one, right? One or two? Yeah.
Michael Venom Page was in that?
No, not David Rickles.
Oh, Rickles was. Okay.
Yeah, Rickles. You also got Phil Davis going up against Litton Vassell. That's another exciting fight. You got Aaron Chalmers Ashley Griffiths, Anastasia Yanikova on this card. Also, Ted, I forgot to remind you about that one.
Wait,
The hot one. Here, I got a better picture for you of her.
the hot one.
Anastasia Yanikova.
Ah, yes.
This one.
Dear Lord. Yes. Sweet baby Jesus.
This one.
Okay. I'm with you. Oh my. So, yeah, I mean, I just, for 200, they really, I don't know that they did enough to stack it. Now, I mean, that's just on paper. It could end up being just an absolutely amazing card action-wise.
They've had a couple of back-to-back good events.
Yeah. Oh, hey, what about? Well, I'm jumping ahead. Forget it. Forget that for right now. I was just thinking about hot female MMA fighters. Rachel Ostovich. Isn't she fighting this weekend?
Is she?
I think she's fighting at UFC Liverpool.
I know Jillian Robertson is, and I just interviewed her this afternoon. She's going to be fighting Meatball Molly, Molly McCann from
Molly.
Yeah, man, and
Ronda Rousey.
She's saying
Ronda Rousey got a meatball right here.
She's saying that, and a lot of people are freaking out that she said this on the show, but she said that she's going for a first round finish over Molly.
All right.
Candace Robertson.
Rachel Ostovich, whether she is on this card or not.
Let me pull that up really quick.
But I'm sorry, Eddie. I'm jumping ahead.
Well, we're talking about hot female. All right, let's jump into our UFC Liverpool predictions because that's next on the list, right?
Yes.
All right, so let's jump into it. First off, Ted, we got Darren Till versus Wonder Boy. Right off the top of your head, who are you going with here? How are you seeing this fight?
Oh, I'm going with Darren Till.
Yeah?
I'm going with Darren Till. I mean, look, I know he's young, but I think he's got what it takes. I think he can do it. His stand up is great, and I mean, sure, it's a tall order. It could end up looking like the fight that we just saw tonight on The Ultimate Fighter. You know what I mean? Because Wonder Boy is this karate phenom, and he's going to want to keep the distance, and he's going to want to fire off kicks, and he's going to want to run around a bit. He's that's what he's going to do. So you know what his game is. The object, your idea, Darren Till needs to do something to counter that, and just go at him full bore.
It's so crazy.
I think he'll be able to do it.
Ted, it's so crazy watching momentum shift in this sport. I mean, let's go back to early 2016 when Wonder Boy Thompson was really building up that momentum, where he got that win over Whitaker. He's getting these spinning heel kick finishes. And then he gets matched up against Johnny Hendricks, flows through him. Everyone's on board with Wonder Boy. And then he gets matched up against Rory McDonald. And what was Rory McDonald's last fight? That was a chess match. After that fight, it's just been chess matches with Wonder Boy. Now, this could be because you're at the highest level. It could be because you're getting faced up against Woodley, and you guys are just two opposites that counteracting one another. You think that's going to be the same thing in this fight, or do you think we're going to see a first round finish? You really think it's going to be a drag out?
I don't think it's going to be a first round finish. I think it's going to be a finish maybe in the third round for Darren Till. I think it's going to take him a little while. You know what I mean, to kind of figure Wonder Boy out. But I think he's going to be able to do it. What was I thinking about here? Jeez, I had a thought and whoop, went right out of my brain.
The thing that comes right to my mind, I know that everyone's on board with Darren Till and the pressure, but let's look at some of the people that Wonder Boy's fought compared to some of the people that Darren Till's fought. Oh
yeah, I mean, definitely without a doubt, Wonder Boy has fought, on a higher level.
His last loss being to Matt Brown, actually that's false. Woodley, obviously, is in the draw, but
right.
You know what I'm saying? He's only fought high talented fighters since 2014.
Robert Whitaker, although that was
At a different weight class for
weight
Whitaker.
Patrick Cote, Jake Ellenberger, Johnny Hendricks, Rory McDonald.
The Ellenberger one, man, that's the spinning heel kick, man. That's what lit it all off.
Tyron Woodley twice, and then Jorge Masvidal.
Here's another issue, though, Ted. If Wonder Boy wins, he's kind of in a rough position for next title shot. And the division's kind of tied up. They're really matching this up for Darren Till to be the successor, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, we've also got to worry about UFC 225. That's for the interim welterweight belt.
Yeah, Colby and RDA.
Colby and RDA, right?
That's really who's next. Yeah.
You got the winner of this one, Darren Till and Wonder Boy. Then you got Kamaru Usman thinking he's got the next shot because he's on an 8-fight win streak. No. I mean, the guy is. Did you hear his excuse this time? Well, I broke both my hands.
Backstage. Did you see what was going on there? Someone should have said something or stopped what was going on backstage. His team was just, they were breaking in his glove, which I believe is illegal to do, like smashing it against walls and stuff. And he said he broke both of his hands in this fight.
About that, because fighters break their hands all the time in MMA, or a lot, right? And this is the first time I've ever heard of or seen anybody taking a glove and whacking it against the wall. I don't know. I just don't know how much. I don't know what's in those gloves anyway. Because remember, it used to be with boxing gloves, it was horsehair, and you could kind of pull that horsehair apart so that the knuckles were kind of a little bit more exposed.
Yeah.
I don't think there's horsehair in the MMA gloves. I don't know what's in them, but how much are you going to break it down just by bang, 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 whacking it against the wall a little bit? I mean, unless there was more footage than what we saw, because that one clip was just a little bit.
Yeah.
He broke it down that much to the point that, I mean, unless Kamaru Usman just has brittle hands, I don't know. He broke both his hands. I think he's settling into this. I've got an excuse every time I fight. 30% was the one fight. Now he's broke both hands. What's it going to be next fight? It's going to be another excuse.
You know, that's something that it's better to be left on set, right?
There's that point of view. People say, you know, that you should never talk about your
because he's trying to impress people by being like, oh, that was me at 30%. Oh, I had 2 broken hands. But really, it's not impressing anybody. It looks bad, is what it looks like.
It comes off as you're making excuses, or you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't talk about the. You know, it should not be. You know, I won, but you know, no, just leave it. People don't want to hear it.
Circling back to Darren Till, man, I mean, this is a hard opportunity for him. He's fighting in Liverpool, and the kid's only 25 years old now. I might get people tweeting me when they hear this saying, well, you know, he's been, you know, doing Muay Thai his entire life. I don't know, just the experience, the IQ of Wonder Boy, how smart he is with game plans. I mean, if we're looking at Cowboy's fight that he had with Darren Till, the blueprint, I'm not the first one to say this, the blueprint for beating Cowboy is out there. Blitz him in the first round, surprise him, and you can get the knockout if you hit him hard enough. Right. With Wonder Boy, it's not going to be that easy to finish Wonder Boy.
No, it definitely isn't. But you know, at 35 years old, is time running out for him? I mean, know.
Yeah, he got rocked against Woodley, where he's, you know, cooped up in the corner of that cage, and in that, what was it, the first or the second fight? I think it was the first fight.
I mean,
I don't remember, but either way, he got rocked in both those fights pretty hard. But if Woodley could have knocked him out, can Till? I don't know.
Right. I mean, we didn't see the Wonder Boy that we're used to. We saw a very tentative Wonder Boy in those Woodley fights, I thought, for the most part, because he was fearful of the right hand, and he was fearful of the takedown. Now, that I don't think you can say that applies necessarily to Darren Till. Darren Till is a striker. Does he really have knockout power per se? Well, I mean, you know, you watch some of his training clips, and he's you know, he's throwing some heavy leather, but I don't know that he has the wrestling chops.
If you look at the fight that he had before the Cowboy fight, he won the fight, but he got rocked a couple of times, and he kind of like tries to shake it off, being like, no, it didn't hurt. But he got rocked a couple times. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I watched that fight a few months ago, but
Okay.
I don't know. I think Wonder Boy got this. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I think we're going to see a more aggressive Wonder Boy, but Darren Till, I think, is just going to come straight at him
And
try to make it a fight in a phone booth kind of thing.
Here's the other thing, Ted. If Till can walk out with the Conor McGregor swagger, the confidence, I think that's what's kind of separated in the fight, which happens because. Do you agree with me on this? It kind of feels like Wonder Boy was pressured into this fight instead of wanting it, and that could be an issue.
Yeah, I think it wasn't Till kind of pursuing him. Yeah, I think Till was. I mean, I think Wonder Boy thought if he held out, maybe he could get
a better deal.
Woodley again, but I think he still needs to prove himself. He's not quite there yet. He had 2 shots. He needs to rack up a number of wins. I don't know how many exactly, but
I agree. I 100% agree. Unless Woodley loses that belt, I do not see him getting another shot. And it's a shame because if you break it down and look at it, it's not really fair because that first fight was a draw, right?
Okay. Yep.
So it was only right to do that rematch. So it's not his fault. However, it's just too soon. It's still too soon. No one wants to see that. No one wants to see that.
I don't think people are interested.
Yeah. When Dana White says no one wants to see it, I don't think you're going to be able to get it. Last thoughts on this fight, Ted. You got Till, who's been fighting in the UFC since 2015, but really hasn't shined until most recently. Wonder Boy started in 2012. He's got 11 fights in the UFC compared to Till's 4. I really think that veteran status is what's going to outshine him in those later rounds. I'd say 3rd or 4th round finish for Wonder Boy. What's your prediction here, Ted?
3rd round finish for Till.
Okay, there we go.
Oh yeah.
There you go. I forgot to ask you, where are you watching this fight? Because it is also, let me inform our listeners, it's Sunday, not Saturday. It's Sunday morning. In case you guys didn't know that.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh crap.
Yeah, I really don't think a lot of people knew that. It's starting at really early. It's starting at 10 a.m. here in the East Coast.
Oh my God, because I'm gonna have to work. Shit.
On a Sunday.
I work every Sunday pretty much, unless I ask for it off. I work Sunday through Thursday.
Well, here's the good thing: if you guys have FS1 and you have the app, or you have Fox Sports Go app, you can watch it as soon as the fight's over. I just discovered it. You can watch Ultimate Fighter as well. Fucking love the app. Can't do that with my Xfinity on demand.
Sorry, it reminded me of something.
But Ted, that's your prediction for 3rd round, 4th round.
3rd
round.
round.
You're not going to be able to watch the fights, unfortunately.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I can.
All right. Sorry.
No, go ahead, man.
So our co-main event, we got Neil Magny going up against Craig the Thundercat White. Now, Craig White, no one really knows about this guy. He doesn't even have a picture on UFC.com, but we know an awful lot about Neil Magny. 30 years old, 27 record, 18 fights in the UFC since joining in 2013, and he's coming off a win to Carlos Condit most recently. But where did this opponent come out of?
I'm sure there's something out there. It was because
did someone get injured?
Yes, somebody got injured. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know who. Right. I mean, yeah, this wasn't his original. It was Gunnar Nelson. Gunnar Nelson was going to fight, and then promotional newcomer Craig White announced as Magny's new opponent after Nelson pulled due to a knee injury. Craig White is so new, he doesn't even have a Wikipedia page.
Damn, man. The Thundercat.
I don't know any the Thundercat. That's I remember that show.
Here's all I know about Craig, the Thundercat White. He's 14-7. He's 27 years old, so pretty much the same age as Neil. And he's a grappling specialist. That's all we know about the mysterious Thundercat, Craig White.
Thundercat.
Ted, any other fights on this card that stand out to you? And obviously, my prediction is Neil Magny to take that fight. I'll be releasing my predictions on Twitter and Instagram. I'm sure Ted will as well on Twitter. But your pick for that fight, Ted?
Let's see here. Well, for that one. Oh,
Yeah.
I'll have to go with Neil Magny. I honestly, I don't know the other guy.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't know the man, but yeah. So I think that's going to be a win for him. Oh, check this fight out. This should be a good one. Jason Knight. Who, don't they call him Hick Diaz?
Hick Diaz. Yeah.
Jason Knight versus Makwan Amirkhani, Mr. Finland.
Amirkhani, he's when's the last time he's fought? Let's check that out. March of 2017 against Arnold Allen, who's also on this card.
Arnold Allen is also on the card. Right above them, Arnold Allen versus another guy who doesn't have a Wikipedia page, Mads Burnell.
But Jason Knight, man, he really needs to get back on track here. I believe he's coming off, let's see, two losses. He had a loss at UFC 214 against Ricardo Lamas, and then another loss against Gabriel Benitez in December of last year. So, I mean, there was a lot of momentum behind Jason Knight. In case there's any new MMA fans tuning in, this is a guy that you want to watch, and I'm really crossing my fingers on this one because I want this guy to win. But Amirkhani, man, he's not going to be easy by any means at all. From what we've known about Amirkhani, man, he's going to be looking for that submission, and I see this fight ending in submission, whether it's Jason or Amirkhani. I'm rooting for Jason. I don't know, leaning towards Amirkhani. Thoughts, Ted?
Well, and don't forget, Amirkhani also he had that TKO flying knee and punches against Andy Ogle, so he's a versatile fighter. I think this fight has the potential to be fight of the night. I mean, sure, so could Thompson versus Till, but this could be like one of these kind of almost like a sleeper fight. I mean, you may not think, if people don't recognize the fighters' names, they might be surprised.
And Jason Knight, though, I mean, there's no stopping that guy. He's literally like, when he was out on his feet in one of his last fights, the ref had to step in and stop it. He's kind of like a Justin Gaethje, to where there is no off. You're not going to turn this guy off. He's going to literally need to be breaking down, combusting, like a broken robot or whatever before you're going to be able to get the finish. You're not going to be able to finish. Shut the lights out on Jason Knight. And something I like about Jason Knight, which he brought up in his post-fight speech after one of his last losses, is how he wasn't crushed by it. He was even more motivated by it, and that's a scary thing to look out for in professional fighters, man, especially at this level. So watch out for Jason Knight. Like Ted said, this is definitely a potential fight of the night. Ted, closing thoughts on this card here, really quick. You got Davey Grant against Bermudez. Davey Grant was on that season of Ultimate Fighter with Ronda Rousey. My heart's with him. I'm rooting for Bermudez. Ted, do you know much about either of those two guys?
Oh, hold on. Damn it. I had the card up, and then I clicked off of it.
Well, you got Bermudez, man, 12-0, fighting out of Joe Giannotti's gym from the season Ultimate Fighter over at South Shore, making his debut. I believe he was on Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series. He's coming off a win, though, over Albert Morales back in February, so most recently. The Bermudez Triangle, so representing the East Coast, going up against Davey Grant. Like I said, my heart's there with Davey. I'm going with Bermudez on this one, though, by finish. That's another sleeper fight there.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest with you, Eddie. I'm not, these guys are kind of under my radar. But hopefully I can catch the fight, and then I'll be up to speed on that.
Last but not least, guys, me and Ted I'll be making my predictions on Twitter. I'll be releasing that, and in the UFC Pick'em League. Ted, have you joined UFC Pick'em League yet? Are you on that yet? To make your predictions on there or no?
I don't.
UFC.com fantasy?
I don't think so.
All right. So last thoughts here. Guys, I've interviewed Jillian Robertson, who's going to be going up against Molly Meatball. That interview I'll be playing at the end of this show right here. I'll just tag it right on the end here for everyone to listen to because they're hearing the prediction show anyway. So stay tuned for that, or you can check it out on YouTube at Pure Evil MMA. She's going up against Molly Meatball. So let us know what you guys think about that interview and about that fight. Let us know what your predictions are on Twitter at evil_echo, the EVIL_ECCO, and also Ted Czech's page at Ted Czech. That's TEDCZECH. Closing thoughts here, Ted, on this card. On paper, how do you think that it rates out of 10 on paper?
Well, geez. I mean, huh.
For a Liverpool card?
I mean, I would guess that some of these people that we don't know about are from England. I mean, aside from Till, right? I mean, that's usually the idea. Like, I mean, you look at UFC Brazil cards. One half of the card is Brazil.
It's Brazil versus the world.
Yep. It's so hopefully they've got. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be the venue. I'm sure it's going to be off the hook. I'm sure it's going to explode. You know what I mean? At the Echo Arena in Liverpool.
Oh yeah, so, it always does. It always does.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be exciting. That the crowd's going to be just electrified. I'm excited for the main event. I'm excited for Knight versus Amir Khani. Some of these other ones, you know what I mean? Not so
no
sure.
Rachel Ostovich, by the way, guys.
No. I know she's got a fight coming up. I don't know. I don't even want to say what I think. I don't know when. But anyway, I mean, I'm just hoping for good, exciting fights. I just,
But we have Bellator on Saturday, followed by Sunday UFC. I kind of like when that happens, though. But yeah, what's your rating on paper, Ted? You think it's better than the Bellator card, or you think it's kind of even par with
I don't
Bellator?
know. See, because
Bellator's got a shot here to be the card of the weekend. I love that.
Yeah,
it has a shot.
Competition is. Hey, I'll just say this. I mean, it's competition is great for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, except for Bellator and the UFC. It's good for us, the fans. It's good for the fighters. If the UFC had its way, it would be the only. Well, maybe not the only one in the entire world because they need feeder organizations, but they need proving grounds. But yeah. But we benefit. You know what I mean? That's great.
So there it is, guys. Your 90 minutes of Evil and Intoxicated. We broke down Ultimate Fighter Season 27. We broke down some of the latest MMA news. Ted, before we let you go, before we sign out, what did you release this week on your YouTube channel that people can check out?
Well, I had one on the on Verdum. Today I did a little thing on Verdum. And, my theory about him eating that large rodent. So, talking about that. It was earlier in the week. What was I talking about? Oh, my God. I usually, sometimes I do these the chats in the middle of the day on my lunch break.
Well, you're good with people that don't know you. Anytime there's breaking news, you're all over it on your YouTube page.
Try.
Yeah.
I really try, Eddie. But hold on, I'll tell you in just 1 second. Let me just get to it real quick. Let's see here. So also Colby Covington, he did a video talking about nerds and virgins. So I made up the word nerdgens. Nerdgens are nerds and virgins together. And he keeps he was at that show that it was like a porn site, but they had
the Cam Soda.
What is it?
It was Cam Soda. My boy Bruce fought Crazy Horse or Felony, so to say.
Yeah. Cam Soda. So I think he was with a Cam Soda girl. He's always got these actresses that he's hanging out with, So anyway, yeah, and then I guess it was Monday or Tuesday. I said we know who will headline UFC Moscow, and we did know, and that was before Verdum got busted. So so I've got those two videos. Those are the two latest videos this week.
My last thing I want to talk with you about is Chuck Liddell, man. What was your thoughts on him returning? And really quick, 20 years ago this week was Chuck Liddell's MMA debut at UFC 17, where he beat No Hernandez via unanimous decision 20 years ago.
That was his MMA debut or his UFC debut?
It says MMA debut.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because, geez, I thought it was before. Well, maybe I'm wrong. I know he fought a bare knuckle fight in Brazil, but maybe that was not his first fight. Because that was against Jose Pele Landijohns.
Well, what's your thoughts? Do you think it's a good idea for him to return? Do you want to see him fight Tito?
That was his first fight. No Hernandez was his first professional fight, and it wasn't in the UFC. Okay. Then came the Landijohns fight. It was 30 minutes. A 30-minute bare knuckle fight that he won by decision. But
Wow.
anyway, Chuck Liddell, I think he should stay retired.
Yeah, I figured you would say that.
I mean,
He's 50 years old almost, man. It's hard.
Dana White had a reason for retiring him way back when. And I mean, I know the way that fighters are. They always think, true fighters always think they got one more fight in them, you know? Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play, you know? But, we're talking about getting your brain scrambled. And, yeah, I think it's kind of the hot potato. Nobody wants it. I'm sure he reached out to the UFC. I'm sure he reached out to Bellator. But here we go. Oscar De La Hoya says he's willing to put it on.
I mean, I'm kind of surprised it wasn't Bellator picking that fight up, but there you go, guys. What are your thoughts about this? That was our last thing. Let us know on Twitter, evil_Echo or at Ted Czech. Is there any questions in the chat room before we sign out here, Ted?
Well, I was just gonna say one other thing real quick. Maybe they learned their lesson. You know, they start putting on the fights with the Geritol posse, and you know the last few haven't worked out so well. You know,
Shamrock, yeah.
Versus Kimbo, Ken Shamrock versus Royce Gracie, Kimbo versus Dada 5000. You know, those fights have not. Maybe the ratings were great, but they were shitter fights. Anyway, chat room. Let's see.
I love how you got to use the BANaranged tonight too.
The BANaranged, yes, we did. We got rid of Phil and McCracken. You know, he's got a great name, but he was just obsessed with ass shots, so he can go do that somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because I said, Phil, relax, go look at your own ass. You know.
Yeah.
Christ. There was some talk about Colby here. G-Man saying Colby Covington versus RDA is a tough one to pick. I literally could see RDA going in and picking him apart, or I could totally see Colby Covington just beating on him for 5 rounds and getting the decision.
I don't know. I think RDA takes that fight. I think that Maia was piecing up Colby Covington. I think RDA is definitely going to piece him up.
I don't know though. I think Colby's made some strides in his striking. I like the way he looks as of late.
He's unpredictable, you know, spinning back fists and stuff like that.
Clips, you know, he's shown that to me, you know, that he's learning. He's learning. He's adding skills. He's getting more skilled. But will it be enough? That's the big question. But Mike LaValle is saying that will be Darren Till's downfall. If he comes slamming in like a linebacker, Wonder Boy's going to catch him.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
Wonder Boy's hoping for that, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I think Till knows that, so Till's got a counter game plan. You know what I mean? It's going to be interesting to see what the game plans are going to be and who can execute the game plan.
This is huge, man. This is a huge fight for Darren Till, and it's going down this weekend. I can't wait for it.
I think he's excited about, you know, like some people get jitters. I think Fabricio Verdum, you know, when he fought in Brazil, he came in against Stipe. I think because he was just, you know, I think the pressure got to him. You know, but Darren Till, I think, is going to feed off it. He's just pumped.
Yeah, like Conor McGregor. When Conor McGregor walked out for UFC 205, you felt it extruding from his. You felt the energy. You felt his aura. Darren Till, I think the UFC is hoping for that same presentation from Darren Till, and we'll find out this weekend. We certainly will find out this weekend.
Yeah, I think the crowd's just going to tear the roof off the place, and yeah, so I think Darren Till is going to be able to. I think he's going to have a good game plan, and he's going to execute.
Ted's got Till, I got Wonder Boy. Right there, baby.
There we go.
There. Last question? Any last questions?
Ken Shiro says, I like it. I got $400 on Till. We're going to ride or die together, baby.
Hey, Ken Shiro. What's up, brother? Yes. I didn't know Ken Shiro was tuning in.
Here's a good one. What does everyone think about Dana White's cryptic smiley face? What does it mean?
Okay, so we kind of brushed on this earlier, but you know, Ted, why don't you bring this back up?
I gotta scratch my throat.
Let me scratch my throat. What the fuck, bro? That's weird, man.
You like that?
No.
Anyway, yeah. So the
weird.
speculation. Does it mean that he signed Nurmagomedov versus Conor McGregor? Does it mean that does it have to do with the ESPN deal? I don't know.
Ted, just to think about people listening to this podcast in their car and having to hear that is hilarious.
It's me scratching my throat with my throat.
The side speakers. these fucking assholes.
You never heard anyone do that before?
You've done some stuff, man, on the show, but not noises like that. I mean, nothing quite like that. No, not to that level. But
all right. On that note.
On that note, guys, really quick, make sure you are following Ted and me on Twitter at evil_echo. That's EVIL_ECCO, and Ted Czech at TEDCCH. My Instagram is at Pure Evil MMA. Get all the latest Pure Evil MMA content at mymmenus.com. It's been a blast talking with you guys tonight. Ultimate Fighter Season 27, man. I'm loving this season. And from what we're seeing with the ratings, it's going up. So could this be the saving point? Or is this the final goodbye? Let us know what you guys think on Twitter. Guys, have a great night. White knuckles to the end. Behave yourselves.
I was gonna. Okay, we'll do that.
What's going on, guys? I got a real special guest for us again today on Pure Evil MMA. She has an upcoming fight this weekend, and I can't be more excited about it. We have Jillian the Savage Robertson joining us. How are you doing today, Jillian?
I'm doing great today. Just on the way to Liverpool.
Well, what's going on this morning? I know that. What's going on? You had some difficulties on the plane or the passport. What happened?
Actually, when I was leaving from Fort Lauderdale, the flight was delayed about 3 hours. So whenever I arrived in Philadelphia to switch planes, my plane had already taken off. So it's a little bit delayed right now, and I had to stay the night in Philadelphia. I'll be taking off tonight and landing in Liverpool tomorrow. So it's just a little bump in the road. Same plane going out there.
So who are you with right now? Who are you flying out with? Is Dean with you, or who from ATT is going to be in your corner for this one? Who's with you right now, getting you through this delay?
Actually, I'm by myself right now.
Oh no!
Dean had to take it. Dean is going to be the only person in my corner. He'll be out there with me, and he had to take a separate plane because he has to fly from Liverpool straight to New York to help Jessica Aguilar, who's going to be coining her next weekend. So he had to arrange different flight plans than me. So I'm here by myself right now, but making the best of it.
So right now, you are where exactly? Because like I looked at your Instagram and it looked like you already took a flight. So where are you right now?
I'm in Philadelphia.
Oh, okay. So you're in Philadelphia, and where did you fly from? Florida?
Yeah, Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Jeez. So you left last night. How did that flight go? Was that a relaxing flight at least?
Yeah, my flight was supposed to take off at 4:30 yesterday, and then it ended up taking off around 7 or 7:30, I believe, and just delayed as anything. But so it was a long day yesterday, and it was nice to get a good night of sleep. But it's just been quite the travel so far.
Has anybody recognized you yet? Do they realize that it's you? I mean, Philadelphia is, a fight city.
Not yet, no. I don't feel like I'm that big of a name in the UFC yet, but by the end of this year, people definitely will be recognizing me more.
So let's talk about, in case nobody remembers, Ultimate Fighter, you recently just had a win, what was it, December, where you went in there, first round submission finish against Emily Whitmire. Now, Emily's a tough girl. She's from Chill's part of the woods, and you have this upcoming opponent with Molly. What do you think are the differences or maybe the similarities between your last opponent and your new opponent?
I feel like Emily represents herself as primarily a grappler. She has good jiu-jitsu, where Molly is probably the 100% opposite. She's a great striker. That's how she's won all her fights. And I believe she had previous boxing experience and came into MMA after that. But I feel like it's going to go the same way. So I'll be able to get my takedown, and I feel like she'll be a fish out of water once I'm on the ground.
I was checking out your Instagram, and first off, let me congratulate you on reaching 10K on Instagram. That's That's a pretty awesome landmark right there. But I saw you post on that was I could not stop laughing. You said for my next opponent, you better watch out and get one of these post anti armbar suits. That was absolutely genius. That was hilarious. I love seeing stuff like that. So are you planning on going for a submission finish, or are you leaning towards more of like, because I remember in this season Ultimate Fighter, Justin was trying to get you to trust more in your striking. Is that something that you've been working on evolving with?
It's definitely something I've been working on constantly, and my striking has definitely been getting better. But like I said, I feel like Molly's way to win would be on the feet. That's where she's the strongest. That's where she's going to be the best. So but I feel like she'll be nothing for me on the ground. I feel like I'll be able to get that finish first round, and like I said, I feel like she'll be a fish out of water. I feel like once I get my takedown, it'll be my world.
So yeah, first round your call, and I remember the second that Robert TQ Turnquist hit me up, he was like, "Man, Jillian's got a fight. I can't tell you who it's against, but it's a real good one." And I am so happy as soon as this fight was announced because Molly has a pretty big name over in England. How familiar with her before this fight got matched up?
I was actually a fan of hers before I got matched up. I was definitely watching her. She's the Cage Warriors champion. She's 7-1, so she's definitely got a legit record. But I don't feel like she's ever fought girls at my level. I don't feel like she's ever fought girls who are grapplers like me and have the capabilities that I do on the ground.
I mean, you've even on that season Ultimate Fighter, I think that was a good starting place for you to have, some experience against people like Barb, who was the Invicta FC champion. And the way that season went with, you getting that finish after the finale was just great momentum building your way. And now here you are going against Molly. So it seems like the UFC is really trusting you here to go in there and put on an exciting fight. We hear you calling out first round finish. But what is your team been working on with you? Because you're still so new to the sport. I mean, you just tweeted something saying that you just started like kickboxing like 7 years ago. So this is all got to be still so surreal, still, isn't it?
Oh, it's 100% surreal. Actually, a year ago today was the TUF 26 tryout.
Wow.
So that's just crazy to me. That it's like in a year all this has happened, and it's just everything's happened so fast. And the fact that I even get to go to Liverpool and be able to fight there is just, it's 100% surreal to me.
So what does your family think about you going out to Liverpool? Are they kind of jealous? Because, I mean, that's a bucket list thing to do.
My brother's actually going to be flying out there with me, so that's going to be awesome to have one person cheering for me in the crowd at least going into her hometown. But my mom and dad are definitely nervous. They're just always worried about their little girl, especially when I'm getting punched in the face, so they don't want to see that. But they're excited for me, and they know I can do it.
So let's rewind a little bit and talk about your last fight. I know that you got like that, that 10K bonus finish. Did you get that money yet? Were you able to, splurge a little bit, treat yourself out, maybe treat the girls out?
All I've done with my paycheck since my last fight was I put it 100% towards I moved out of my parents' house and so I could move down to Coconut Creek and just get the better training. I could be closer to the gym down there because it was an hour and a half drive before to go down to Coconut Creek. So now I'm about 10 minutes away.
Wow.
And that's all I've really done with my whole paycheck is just dedicated to my training.
Wow, that's awesome because I remember the champion, Nico, she was saying that she was still living at her parents' house. So this was huge for you girls to, kind of get that up and go feeling, get out of the nest, something that we all have to do at some point. Has it been weird, being away from home, being away from mom and dad?
It's definitely weird not being in my home, and then I also have a gym back home too, so it's weird not being able to train there. But like I said, I feel like I have to do it for my training. I feel like you have to make the sacrifices to get what you want, and I had to sacrifice everything so I could move down to this gym and get my better training and see myself progress at the rate that I want to.
Well, geez, there really is no better gym for you to be at. But yeah, I mean, ATT, you're training with, let's start from one of my favorites, Trish Cicero, who, maybe not a lot of people are familiar with, but she is such a sweetheart.
Yeah, definitely. We have a huge girls team, probably about 15 to 20 girls.
Well, yeah, you got Joanna there, you got Amanda Nunes. I mean, you're around all these champions. It's got to be more of a reality to you to be around those champions as well.
Yeah, I definitely believe champions, and that's all I'm ever going to be.
So what about because Trish, what's going on with her? Is what's been going on with her? Because she's been pretty quiet as of late.
I'm not sure 100%. I know, like, I believe a month ago she had another professional fight, and then I want to say she competed in the Miami Open. A lot of those girls have just been trained strictly to get ready for the Miami Open, so she hasn't been a big part of my camp just because of that.
Oh, okay. Well, there's one more other thing I want to congratulate you on with your team. You got your what'd you get, your brown belt?
Yes.
Congratulations on that. And also
Thank you so much.
you got to be missing your dog too, because you're always posting about what's his name, Rob the dog. Rob the dog.
Yes, Robin. He's probably my best friend, and I miss him more than anything. I actually took him back to my parents' house last week, so then I could get everything ready this week, so I would be ready to go to Liverpool, and it's just been killing me. It's so weird going home and not having him welcoming me there.
You know what? You love him so much, you even made an Instagram account for people to follow. And let me just throw that out there for everybody. If you guys want to go follow Rob the dog, go follow him at Rob the dog 772. 772. Is it a thing with fighters? Like every fighter I've interviewed has a pit bull. I mean, what's your interest with pit bulls? Is that something you've had since you were a little girl?
I've honestly just been in love with animals since I was little. All I ever did before fighting was volunteer with animals. I volunteered at the Humane Society and a wildlife sanctuary and a horse rescue. And I worked at the Humane Society for probably 4 or 5 years. And Robin was actually at the Humane Society for over a year. And in that year period, I just fell in love with him more than anything. He's something special. He's got a personality to him.
You know, I just picked up 2 rats, and there's so many people out there that are still like, I mean, it's the mascots of the show, Pure Evil MMA. I got, pet rats. So, there's still so many people out there that think of sewer rats, but they're really such awesome animals. I'm a huge animal lover myself, and it's such a comforting tool as well. People don't realize, like, pets, they're so comforting at the end of the day. And I'm sure you miss Rob so much right now, too.
Definitely coming home after a hard training session, just being able to cuddle with him definitely relieves a lot of stress just mentally, and it's nice to have him around.
I mean, even like Rose Namajunas brings her dog around, even to like the media scrums and stuff like that. Have you got Rob his certificates or anything like that to be like what are they, mentor dogs, or what are they called?
The service dog.
Service dog. There you go. Is he a service dog?
He is not right now, but that's definitely something that I'm going to be looking into.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, it's hard for me to be away from him. I don't like that.
I mean, if you're a true pet lover, it's hard to even like go into Walmart without them. So with the certificate, you can go into Walmart. But moving on, you said you're looking for this first round finish here. Have you talked to your opponent? Have you ever met her before?
No, I've never met her before. I haven't talked to her either. I've seen she's talked a little bit about me on social media, but I've been trying to stay out of that. But no, I've never met her.
Well, before we let you go, I just want to let you know that the UFC, like if you look at all the stats and everything, they have you ranked up at 100% for grappling. So we really hope that you can go in there and get this finish on there, because it would be an amazing finish against Molly. And we're wishing you best of skill. That would be a huge momentum boost. And you're climbing the ranks. Last time I checked, I think you're 11th after your last fight at flyweight. So this would be a huge jump up. In my books, if Molly's anywhere on the ranks, I think she's definitely a top 10 opponent, wouldn't you?
Oh, definitely. Like
Yeah.
I said, I was a fan of hers before I knew that I was going to fight her, and I definitely feel like this is a serious fight to go into. She's going to bring her best. I'm going to bring my best, and it's going to be a war. Before
I let you go, is there anything else that you want to get out there? Anything off your chest? Words to your opponent?
Just let's put on a great fight. That's all I ever need is professionalism, and I'm just in it for the sport of it.
Jillian, thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to seeing your smile on TV again. You have one of the prettiest smiles out there, guys. Make sure you're following Jillian at Savage_UFC. Thank you so much. We wish you best of skill.
But thank you.
Have a good one, Jillian.
You too.
There you go, guys. Jillian Robertson joining us on Pure Evil MMA. One of my favorite people to interview, too. She's so nice. She's so quiet. And I really feel like if you ran into her on the street, if you didn't know who she was, you would never guess this girl's a fighter. I mean, she's so young too. 22 years old. She's training with some of the best people in her sport, like Joanna Jędrzejczyk, like Amanda Nunes. And I threw up Trisha's name because Trish is another one that you guys need to keep your eye on. You know, training down there at ATT, you have Dean Thomas. It's just a perfect place to go blossom as a young up and coming fighter. So let me know what you guys think about this weekend. I didn't get her pick. That's one thing I didn't ask her who her pick was for that main event. But don't worry, because I'm going to be coming at you guys with the UFC Liverpool breakdown on Pure Evil MMA podcast today. Matter of fact, tonight. So I'm looking forward to that. This interview will also be up on the podcast and at mymmanews.com. Guys, have a great day. Tonight, Ultimate Fighter Season 27, I think episode 5 or episode 6. And then Suman Makatran, who's fighting tonight, is going to be joining me on Pure Evil MMA. Me and Ted Czech are going to be going live tonight, guys, 10 or 11 o'clock Eastern time, directly after the Ultimate Fighter. Don't want to miss it. We're going to be covering all the latest MMA news, predictions with this weekend's fight, like I said. Guys, last but not least, white knuckles to the end. Behave yourselves.